Just last week, you couldn't remember whether you paid $33.95 or $34.50 for those new shoes you bought.
Well, I have no memory for figures. You know that.
$15.92 is a figure.
So I got a funny mind.
Ugh.
You think you're going to score?
This is Film Sack. Oh, sure.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Film Sack. That's right, you're listening to Film Sack, mining the very depths of film entertainment for all mankind, episode 666. Number of the beast. Number of the beast. Anyway, very scary. It's not even Halloween yet, and my name is Scott Johnson. I'm joined today by Brian. In a move of pure irony, he named the dog Nicodemus Dunaway.
Your puppy's so nice now. Weirdo. Oh, hi.
Hi.
This week on Film Sack, we ask which of us daughters of Satan is the witchiest witch to witch when we pop out of our burnt witch painting to go topless and Philippine this 1972 horror thriller starring everybody's favorite mustache in a red convertible getting chased by dogs on an island over on Freebie. Jeez, man. Did you order every color of Izod in the JCPenney catalog that year? No wonder Satan doesn't want you as a son-in-law. Anywho, thanks, guys, for coming with me to Bring a Friend week at Manila Assembly of Lucifer. Just one part of our efforts to increase interest in the big guy down below. Things are really starting to turn around. Attendance was at an all-time low before the Pope spelled backwards said shirts were optional and sadistic rituals were encouraged. Now look at us. Tit to sweaty tit. Hey, can you grab the other end of this rope? We're about to start the service. Hey, Randy, we need a satanic alibi. 150 proof should do it. Jesus, 150 proof.
That's a lot.
Who am I?
Yeah, right? That guy had the booze to sell you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else we got going on here. We have... Oh, why did my tab die? There we go. Hey, look, it's Randy. Don't give him a knife. He'll sit on the dock by the lake all afternoon and think about stabbing you with it for no good reason, Jordan.
Aloha, Scott, Brian, thanks for coming. You're never going to believe it. After dozens of consecutive weeks of being cops, we're not cops. We're not cops. We're just tourists in the Philippines, and it's nice here. But it smells kind of weird, and there's this dog that makes no sense. Why hasn't anyone killed the dog already? It's 1972, so the people for the ethical treatment of animals won't exist for another 8 years. Just kill the dog. Okay. I also need your help figuring out what's going on with this local coven of witches who have magical powers, but they're only mental powers, and they happen to worship Satan. Yeah, Satan. That's Satan. Yeah. There's no actual Satan. Okay? Just there's slow-moving trucks that you can hop on and throw big soft boxes of cigarettes off. And they love it when you do that. But don't worry, you're gonna be fine as long as you follow my 3 rules. Number 1. Take your flashlight outside with you in the middle of the day when you're investigating people who appeared in your backyard. The flashlight adds to your ability to see people in broad daylight. Number 2, find yourself a local counselor and make sure he looks like a perfect cross between Edward James Olmos and the Filipino Elvis Presley impersonator Pelvis Wesley. Number 3. Number 3.
I love the name Pelvis.
Don't fall for it. When women get naked in front of you, you should not even care. You've got to do this, guys. You don't care. Just go on talking to that naked woman and treat her like you're honestly kind of mad at her for trying to get you laid. Girls are stinky and gross. Ew.
Yeah, that lady, dude. That was weird. All right.
Old Kitty.
Yeah, Kitty. What a name. Let's round it all out with Brian. I think he's the guy in the painting Ibit.
Oh, wow. Funny you should say that, Scott.
Geez.
This does remind me of the time that Tina brought home a Fisher-Price Little People's Barnyard Carrying Collector's Case set because she thought I looked just like one of the figures in it. It was amazing. All right, let's get to the song, which you kind of actually weirdly alluded to, Scott. Here we go. Sorry, YouTube people.
Yeah.
Missing out.
Yeah, you're missing out. I will say this, though. I'm always surprised what your songs do to me. Sometimes it's just like, oh, that's a funny parody or there's a whatever. Mm-hmm. This one makes me want to go listen to 90s grunge today.
Yeah. And for the YouTube people, let's just make sure they understand. That was Daughter, a cover of Daughter by Pearl Jam, a karaoke of Daughter by
a parody of,
Yeah. And then therefore the parody. Yeah, it was awesome as usual and also perfectly used for the movie Daughters of Satan. Yes, that's right. We went with something weird and early 70s, 72, I believe this came out. Yeah.
72, correct. It was the 70s, and we were in love with satanic movies. Woo.
That's right. What's crazy is this was released as a double feature with something called Superbeast, which I wouldn't...
Yes, one for the man and one for the woman is what your Salt Lake City advertisement said, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you
Really?
said?
Yeah.
Like, what, did they have full-on male nudity in Superbeast or something?
He was called Superbeast for a reason.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
The funny thing about that is I asked around. I said to my mom the other day, I said, hey, do you remember this? It's like a weird thing. They had an exclusive premiere here in Salt Lake, and it's like a big deal because she loves what's his beak?
Tom Selleck?
Tom Selleck.
Selleck.
That's all she talked about growing up was Tom Selleck. She was like, it was like if you were somebody today or, a millennial talking about Brad Pitt or something. It was like that for her. And so I thought maybe she might know. And she said, no, I have no idea. So apparently, go ahead.
Right off the jump, Tom Selleck is Tom Selleck. Like he's so similar to Magnum PI that it's kind of disconcerting.
A little bit.
It really is with the red convertible car and just the Hawaiian looking shirts.
Right, the mustache and the screenplay was by Higgins. I don't know if anyone picked that up.
I did see that.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I've never watched a single episode of Magnum PI, but I know those are Magnum PI things.
Yeah, you know enough about Higgins to know what that reference felt like. So we'll let Fake Fletcher. That is not to imply Scott Fletcher's a flake, not at all. I just am going to play this fake version of him because we miss him terribly. This one gets weird at the end. I can't explain it, but this is the file they gave me, so enjoy.
Daughters of Satan! Daughters of Satan is a 1972 American horror film directed by Hollingsworth Morse and written by John C. Higgins. The film stars Tom Selleck, Barra Grant, Tani Guthrie, Paraluman, Vic Silayan, and Vic Diaz. The film was released by United Artists in the fall of 1972, screening as a double feature with Superbeast. Save me, Magnum PI, you're my only hope.
All right, that part.
So I think he just died there near the end or something. Something was going on.
It's just funny, like he all of a sudden got mellow halfway through. And the movie was released by United Artists.
And for those thinking I did it like 3 different prompts or something, it's like nope, just the one time. Yeah, at the end it's a plea to kill me. Well, anyway, it is Daughters of Satan, and as that clip for some reason really got into the cast and crew, it's what a weird little 90-minute almost felt like made for TV for me, except for the boobs. The boobs is about the only thing you couldn't do on TV, I guess.
Very, very common review is that this is a made for TV type movie, which is appropriate considering directed by Hollingsworth Morse.
Hollingsworth Morse.
Yeah, he did a lot of TV stuff, as a lot of these guys did. So
yeah.
But you could do that then. You could head to the Salt Lake, Utah, and hit the Capitol Theater or the UTE Drive-In and show your double feature of scantily clad women. Superbeast.
Oh, you 100% could.
Satan.
Yeah.
I mean, you say TV director, and he was, but first note for me, I can't believe how good the cinematography is here. He was wandering around in the Philippines, like going up on hills in Manila and stuff, and trying to get really great shots, and it pays off.
Yeah,
it's got to be inspiring, right? To go to a location that at that point in time, I don't know how many Americans had been to the Philippines or were often visiting there, but be inspired for the local culture and stuff. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. But also, I mean, maybe that was a thing in the 70s? You know, affluent Americans going to the Philippines, trying to find a life down there or whatever. I don't know.
Buying up a big old mansion with a gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your wife can just wait at to let you in as soon as you come home from whatever work your job is. I mean, I know
he's securing paintings for the museum back in New York, right?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not convinced John C. Higgins, the author of this movie, has ever known what newlyweds or married people are like.
No.
No.
This is not a depiction of a marriage between an actual man and an actual woman.
No, that's a fair point, and I don't know why that feels so disjointed. Like
I think this is like the missing link, and I actually think it kind of works because people weren't really living like Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, like in I Love Lucy and stuff, right? And so we had a trope portrayal of how couples acted on TV and movies and stuff, and this is kind of like that. This is kind of like what happened between then and what we think.
It's a transitionary fossil, is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, sure, but the whole movie kind of hinges on this husband and wife not communicating, not caring when the other one is doing something weird at all. It's just, I don't know.
She's a witch in a painting. What do you expect? How normal do you think this relationship's going to be?
Well, and I got questions about that because it was only when they did the Back to the Future fade out that these women would become
possessed.
Right. Yeah. So that is my curiosity too. How do things work in this world, or is there any sort of consistency?
Yes. There is. Tell us the rules.
Really? Okay. So here's the rules.
Okay.
These are all people, according to the story told here, they're descendants who look a lot like, their ancestors.
Sure.
And Satan's taking a little bit of revenge. He's kind of like a little bit of a hell on earth. He's trying to eliminate Tom Selleck's lineage because he's
descended from someone who murdered witches.
Right. Murdered, not just any witches, the daughters of Satan.
Right. And then so if you're a descendant, you have to die, but not before you give rise to another generation that can die later. And so that's weird. But I guess his wife is either a descendant of a witch who was killed burned at the stake, or looks enough like one that Satan wants to make him his tool. It's really hard to explain.
It's demonic possession is what it is, because the daughters of Satan would be, demons essentially.
Yes, the easily explained phenomena of demonic possession. Look, I'm not saying that there isn't a way to do this. I'm kind of with Ibbot's reaction of like,
you don't know who you're with. I'm kind of with.
No, what I mean is like I'm with him in the sense that I need rules. It's like haunted houses. I have the same problem with haunted houses. If you're going to do a demonic possession movie, fine, establish your rules and then adhere to them. And I'm not sure I ever got that.
Like when they disappear from the painting. What is the significance of the appearance and disappearance of them from the painting? Is that when they are aware of who they are?
We're jumping to the end, right? So, like the way I saw the movie, there is a coven of witches. That is an act. That is a persistent thing. But then there is also people who come along and intersect with it. They get possessed, and they can only be possessed for so long. And when their task is done, or in this case, when their task is foiled, then they're no longer possessed. So the twist at the end makes zero sense. You can't make sense of the twist at the very end, because the possession ends before that. Satan gives up, right? He tried every way to get Magnum PI to die. Magnum PI somehow escapes it all, and so then they get unpossessed. They're sitting in a bar, possessed, and then they all lose possession, and they're like, "Oh,
you're a nurse."
According to the built-in lore of this movie, the dog is the seeing eye of Satan. So whatever is communicated to the dog is communicated to Satan. And as far as Satan knows, Tom Selleck died. in that car accident. And so then when he reappears, Chris, our lady witch wife, witchy wife,
witchy,
she becomes repossessed.
Yeah.
Right, she becomes repossessed. You see how scared the dog was? He's like, you better take care of this. I gotta go tell Satan.
I like the term. I like the term.
So where did you learn this? Because that's fascinating. Like, is this on the Blu-ray, Brian?
No. They talk about it. They talk about while you was looking up the typewriter that was on Tom Selleck's desk. I was listening to what was being said.
So they said that Nicodemus was basically the eye of Sauron for the.
Well, he was he said he's the familiar, which is something common with witches, and so he's the one. Yeah. Right, familiar with familiar, and he's communicating. That's what the head shrink. Not literally. That's what the doctor tells me, says that he's the one that's communicating back and forth.
Okay. I want to take a step back to the meta here, just for a minute, just a second. So it's hot action movie summer for us. We're taking a week off of hot action movies for next week. Next week we're going to finish hot action movie summer with a banger of an action movie. Yeah. But today, because our episode is number 666, we decided we wanted to somehow line up with this.
Can't miss it.
And honestly, on paper, this movie has so much potential. It's so much potential. Like, even watching it, I'm spending the whole movie going, you know what? This could be really interesting. Oh, he's going to take that painting home. That could be really interesting. And it just keeps fumbling the ball over and over. And it made me a little sad because I really want to like this movie a lot.
It's really just all about getting ladies to take their shirts off. I mean, come on, they're making some money. That's what this movie's really about, right? It's exploitation.
It's like satanic exploitation with nudity women exploitation.
You say that, but the movie itself doesn't even really linger on that. It's like it's a sort of like happenstance of the world they're in that women keep getting naked. There are some extras in some of the scenes that are staring right at that chest, man. You could see some of these extras could not take their eyes.
Oh, they were into it. Yeah,
I noticed that too when they're lowering her down from the spikes. It's like, okay, eyes up here, fella.
I'm right here.
I don't know what the rules are in Manila, Philippines during the 70s. If everybody's walking around topless or not, I don't know.
I doubt it.
Yeah, to my American eyes though, it's like, oh, there's.
I have a severe level of doubt that was the case. But even then, it's just like, well, now how do we make it seem like they're really in trouble when they're like on the stake or they're being held over those sawed off pipes?
Hilarious! It's like those. I saw those spikes. They were not that pointy. Every time they would even put their foot on it, it was like, oh, come on.
They gush some blood.
Oh, come on.
Like those foam tube insulators, pipe insulators or something.
Yeah, those were lame.
What wussy feet. And then I want to tell Tom Selleck, make your wife get up and wash her nasty feet. Good Lord.
I know. Now it's like, now I've got to change the sheets too. Thanks a lot.
It's a pretty good plot device. Like I instantly recognized that you could look at the bottom of someone's feet to see if they'd been outside.
Running around chasing dogs outside or dancing.
Chasing dogs outside, dancing in the
street, in the road. Yeah.
It's hard. It's harder, and for me, dirty feet is just synonymous with my kids when they were growing up because they were just constantly not wearing their shoes and they were always outside. And even today, I mean, they're my youngest is 24 now. Their feet they're all disgusting. Their whole generation they don't wear shoes outside. They just want to be out.
Is that automatically what grossed Scott out the most? By the way, the feet.
It's close.
But there was something else.
No, actually, really struggled this time. It was hard for me. You know what it was?
Was it the Morgue musical?
It's everybody. No? Everybody in these 70s movies. They just all look like they smell like wet burlap.
Yeah.
Like,
and that cave scene must have just really stunk.
Yeah, dude.
Central Air has changed everything for us. We've become such wussies when it comes to smells.
Yeah, you're not wrong at all. Like I don't know why it is that I get so certain that I'm smelling things in the 1970s. Even great movies from that era. Like I'll see Godfather and I'm like, that doesn't smell good in there. Like I can just tell when stuff stinks. Yeah. And I don't know what that is. That's probably something with my own childhood where, some musty room stunk when I was 3 and I never got over it or something. But But yeah, just not my place. That whole place, everything, everywhere they went, all the clothes they wore, everything they did made me just go, how humid is it
Every time
here?
a new Izod shirt would show up, I would laugh.
It is an interesting thing though. Like we see these 70s movies, and there is, just because of the inherent nature of the way it's filmed and the way it feels, and like The Omen, The Exorcist, already scary, but there's this extra level of just from the way that 70s movies were filmed, and like everything's just hairy and sweaty.
And it doesn't shy away. Like when you go to the mortuary scenes, you see what's going on in the mortuary, you know?
Right.
Like nowadays you wouldn't. It would be a lot
wearing
more.
an In-N-Out burger hat, taking a picture of a dead naked woman.
Yeah, shirtless, running around shirtless, singing a song,
singing to her. That you could smell that guy.
I totally smell that guy. Yeah, I love his little fast food hat though. That's the best stuff.
Yeah. He was I was like, what movie did we just walk into? Because he's it was so weird. And then Tom Selleck walks in, and the guy's like, hey, you can't be here in the morgue party. Get out of here. We're at 666. And then he described what street there was on and how is it the wrong street. And I'm like, you just said the same two words. Those are the same street names. You just said the same places. I don't understand.
Exactly.
I feel like this was a movie that if you were around in 1972 and you were an adult, this would have been one of those satanic panic movies, you know, where people
we were walking that way, right? So we were in the 70s, we were seeing, 60s, 50s, we've seen a lot of monster movies, big monsters and then smaller monsters. And then we got into the satanic area during the 70s, a lot of movies about satanic things.
Yeah.
And then during the 80s, a big backlash. Of course, that usually happens because you have a lot of kids are going out and young people watching these kind of movies, and the older people, the olds from that time, are like, this is what's wrong with the world today. We're trying to figure out what's wrong with the world. It's the Satan.
Yeah, it's Satan.
It's the Satan.
And that stuck around till like mid 90s, that kind of level of panic and freak out.
Yeah.
And I remember even as a kid going, what's wrong with you people? This is a freaking movie.
I was curious about it because we did, like the monster movies, the big giant monster movies, that didn't really drive people to action and go, oh, look at these monster movies. We got to stop giant monsters.
Yeah.
Can't stop giant monsters.
No, they're here to stay.
And so, yeah. But here it's like, oh, this is something we can control, right? And so this is a scary world. I was also curious how much did Vietnam affect all of this stuff?
Oh, probably a little bit. Coming home with
people
nightmares,
the world,
PTSD, all that stuff. Yeah, I think there's part of it.
That and the exposure to other cultures, and just seeing all that all that other entertainment and other beliefs and everything, and just so.
Yeah, I guess I expected more questionable use of people's cultures and ethnicities, and the movie really just did focus on all the white people doing weird shit. With
That's
a
what
couple of
sells, baby.
exceptions. Yeah.
Well, there's a big heaping teaspoon of Catholicism in here, and
holding up the statue of the Virgin Mary to quell.
That was the best part. He's like looking around, just like, what I got in here? What I got in here?
What can I MacGyver? Typewriter, statue of Virgin Mary. Let's use the statue of the Virgin Mary. Otherwise, I'm just going to write a hasty, angry letter to the manager.
Yeah.
And he just walks out, just like, see ya. I was like, what?
It's an interesting
nothing weird here. See ya.
He's an interesting role because he's kind of down to earth and grounded, like he's using regular therapy styles, and he's not like a voodoo doctor or something like that. Yeah. But then toward the end, it's like, oh shit, all the stuff that my upbringing told me is true.
Do people still kill people in movies and stuff by removing road signs? It's like I hate that so much. It's
it's a great trope.
If you don't see the road sign, you just don't care. You just drive, whatever. Mm-hmm. You definitely would see something, right?
So the trope, if you want to look it up, is called "Every Car is a Pinto."
Hold on.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It's full of great references going over the years. People and people are still doing it. They're still like having cars be really just on the brink of blowing up at all times.
Yeah. Tom Selleck's car is blowing up like before it even gets a quarter of the way down the hill. Like it hasn't even rolled over or flipped or anything, and it's like, nope, ran over those ice blocks and just exploded.
Yeah.
Did you notice that you could see the whole mechanism that dropped it?
Oh no,
I missed it.
Oh, I'll have to go.
I was too busy watching the fire.
Watch that.
You should go back. You should go back and watch it. They built a ground colored like mechanism to sort of drop it, and so it's sitting on a platform that falls a little bit with it. And that was fascinating to me. That like the people doing this had, they really went to a lot of effort to blow up a car.
You know what?
I can't think of a car. Go ahead, Scott.
No, I was just going to say I like that they did the thing they did in Magnum PI, which is let's take 6'4" Tom Selleck and let's cram him in the tiniest car possible.
That's why he's always driving convertibles. He's always got his head stuck at the top.
Yeah.
Well, there's two things. That 59 MG
beautiful car.
is definitely a small car.
Yeah, I love
but
that car.
without a top on it, you're right. A tall person can enjoy it. It was weird that it had like the symbol of the Rebel Alliance on the hood.
Yes, I actually wrote that down.
Exactly.
what
I
was
didn't
that
realize
about?
that looked like an anchor until this movie, and I'm like, oh, that looks like an anchor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just when you just elongate, like if it's short, it's the Rebel Alliance. If you elongate that middle section, it's an anchor.
It's an anchor. Yeah. I don't know what that was doing on that car. It just blew my mind.
I couldn't wait for that car to blow up. I hated that color choice.
You didn't like that car? I love that car.
I love the color. I love the car.
stripes.
I just don't like the orange
paint.
stripes. Yeah. The paint,
that was bad.
Leave the whole thing red. But it's better than those weird little Jeep things that everybody else in the Philippines is driving. Apparently,
well, except the woman, the main woman, Kitty. Is it Kitty?
Kitty.
Yeah.
She drives a 71 Opel. And it's gorgeous.
That's nice. Yeah, I like
it. It is perfectly clean, and you're like, okay, they're driving on a dirt road.
Kitty.
They must have, they must have stopped every 100 meters and cleaned that car for it to be that clean.
She had this weird effect of looking. She had the body of a 22-year-old and the face of Skeletor.
She reminded me a little bit of Christine Baranski, and I think Christine Baranski is compelling and has such an interesting look. But there's a look that Christine Baranski has with her like high arching eyebrows and her upturned nose, and it's like, oh, this could be Baranski's mom. This
absolutely,
or older sister, aunt, or something.
Absolutely,
Tanny Guthrie.
Yeah,
what's
that's
her name?
Yeah.
Tanny Guthrie. Yeah,
she's still around, right? Isn't she still around?
No, she passed away.
Everybody in this movie is dead except for Tom Selleck.
Hold on, the main girl's still
But he was
around.
only like what, 28?
I'm kidding.
I think he was only 28. Now Barra Grant, I think she's still alive.
I had him 27 in this movie.
Okay, right.
And Kitty 39. Is that right?
Wow.
Very hasty notes.
She looked pretty great.
And don't forget Barra Grant as well.
Right, 24. She was 24 in this movie, and that felt about right to me. Although she looked and played so much younger than even 24. And Tom Selleck, he's been middle aged his entire life. Yeah, it was a bit weird.
I know she was just sitting at home sewing McCall dresses and stuff. I don't know, because she was always had one.
Yeah.
So many costume changes in this movie.
Really, they really were. Yeah, and it's like all these weird like 70s the onesie basically with the short skirts and
so weird. She was perfectly creepy as the possessed sort of leader witch, but I don't know if the unitard was the way to go. You know what I mean?
Talking about Tani Guthrie.
But while they're in there doing their rituals and stuff, she's in that weird leotard thing. And all I could think of was like
lobsters on the boobs and the crotch. Is that what those were?
Crabs?
They're crabs.
Fire. I couldn't quite tell.
No, I think they're crabs.
I think they're crabs.
Crabs. You're right. She's got crabs.
She's got crabs.
They are crabs. I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, crabs on her boobs and a lobster on her crotch, which is
those are satanic.
Satan works at a Red Lobster, apparently.
Right. Well, you should see where the lobster rolls go.
Lobster rolls.
Good thing she's finally covering up those Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Oh, those sound good. Gosh dang it, I'm hungry. Anyway,
I would not. And by the way, Tani Guthrie uses this movie as her IMDb, or used this movie as her IMDb photo, and she was in The Postman Always Rings twice. Granted, it was as a customer of Twin Oaks customer, but if you're giving me the choice of using this or the Postman Always Rings Twice for my IMDb shot, I don't care what I'm doing in the Postman Always Rings Twice. I'm using that for my IMDb shot.
Yeah, it must be. I mean, this might be a user placed one. I don't know.
It could be. Yeah.
I always wonder, like this. There's a certain generation of actor who are all in their 80s or dead. Like
80s are dead. Like
80s are dead.
Like who does that for them? Somebody somewhere is doing that.
Right. Their estate or a family member, or then or if somebody just pays the money to IMDb Pro and takes it over, they.
My note on Tani Guthrie is 2 years after this, she was in one of the lowest rated movies of all time. It's called The Thirsty Dead, and
that sounds amazing.
When you go look up its ratings in various places, it's ghastly how low this movie's rated.
I like you chose ghastly. By the way, for a 666. I love it.
The description of The Thirsty Dead is beautiful young girls are kidnapped off the streets of Manila by a death cult that needs their blood to remain immortal. Sorry, Tani Guthrie, you're kind of typecast.
Yeah.
So apparently the Philippines made some movies.
Yeah.
Right.
It was just a thing. Like,
was it cheaper to shoot there? I was curious about that. Was there a cultural influence? Was it cheaper to shoot there? I wonder what was going on, because it seemed to happen.
Yes, to all of that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That movie also stars Díaz, Vic Diaz, who was our shop owner, I think.
Oh, that's who that is.
You mean the calm forward Widow's Peak? I love that.
The Eddie Munster slick.
I've never seen anybody calm forward to make a Widow's Peak. That's just way cool. Way cool.
I laughed at him the whole time. I don't know if I was supposed to laugh at him, but I thought he was great. Partly because I expected him to tell me that not get mugwai wet or something like that.
Right. You get the feeling that Tom Selleck and Vic Diaz really got along. They seem like they just had this instant chemistry. It's the first scene, right? The first scene in the movie, Tom Selleck goes into his shop, and you're just like, man, do these guys know each other? What's happening right now?
Yeah,
I love it.
I thought there'd be more to him than just dying. I thought we'd get
right.
Yeah, and it was such an uneventful death. Like Tom Selleck just shows back up in the shop, lifts. Oh, dead. All right, well, let's go in the back and see if I can find somebody taking pictures of a naked woman.
I was watching it, and I was really hoping he was in the double feature part. I was hoping he was in both, have like an actor in both.
Oh, he's the connective tissue. That's interesting.
I was hoping it was, but it didn't happen. Didn't happen.
No. He's just an interesting guy to look at, and I don't know how you get your hair to do that thing in the front, but I want to learn. I want to learn how to do that.
I look forward to my hair loss. To do that.
So you can try that out finally. You'd be like, what? All these years, it's been worth all this waiting. I can finally look like that guy from that shit movie.
God, he's been in so many great movies that he was in an episode. Is that Wonder Woman? Is that like a real movie? What is that?
Wonder Women.
Wonder Women.
What is Wonder Women? What is
another MST3K movie?
Really?
Oh, I love it.
What should be? Is that a thing we should watch?
Oh, I'm sure we should or shouldn't. But he's been in so much. He's in Caged Heat. You guys remember Caged Heat? That one actually made it across the line.
I remember its existence. I never saw it.
Yeah. You remember the cover boxes, right? Probably
yes. I remember the cover box.
Yes.
Yep. No memory of that at all. I don't know what that is.
Lucky.
Well, I'm lucky. I do. I feel lucky. After you've said that. This is interesting. The couple of uses of 666 in the movie. Which is funny because this is our 666 episode. The address number of the antique shop, Treasures of the Orient, where James Robertson buys the painting, is 666. The address on the collar of the dog, Nicodemus, starts with a 666. That's kind of cool. And then, this is a whole separate thing. But just after James Robertson is chased from the antique shop, Treasures of the Orient, a poster for the James Bond film You Only Live Twice, can be glimpsed for the briefest moment on the exterior wall. And I think that's all. United Artists did all the Bond stuff, right?
They did, yeah. And I looked as I read that trivia before that scene came up, and I looked for it, and I could not see it. I was really hoping to kind of catch a glimpse of it. And I think it's in an alley when he's kind of going down the alley behind the stores.
You mean where they're fashioning the caskets?
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. By the way, I'm like, neat casket. Did not even look at it to see it had my name on it. Damn it.
Yeah.
That would have helped things quicker.
I think I missed the casket part. They were working.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
they were.
They were all in the in the alley, just putting together caskets, going,
And
everybody's gonna die.
It had a metal plaque on it that said William or whatever his name
James
is.
Robertson.
72.
James Robertson on it. Yeah.
Yeah, that name. That sounds like
You guys ever-
that sounds like a senator who's served too long and it's time for him to step
James
down.
Robertson.
Yeah, I like that name.
Robertson.
What? Sorry, Dunaway. What were you gonna say? You were about to say.
I was gonna say, whenever I see funeral things, like do you ever get freaked out watching a TV or movie or something, and the death date on like something is like your birthday, like your literal birthday and year?
No.
You ever had that happen?
No.
I have not, but
No, I like it though. I like where you're headed.
Oh
with
man,
this.
it's like, oh, is this TV trying to tell me something? And you're like, oh yeah, I'm just connecting dots.
As a kid, I would do that with names. So if somebody was named Scott in a movie, that would be.
Yeah.
I always thought, oh my gosh, you guys hear that? He's got my name, and my dad would be like,
Can you
"That
believe?"
Doesn't mean anything. Don't be
we
weird.
we picked that out of a book, right, son?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Don't be weird, son. He'd say.
Yeah, don't be weird.
It didn't work. It didn't exactly work, but whatever. I'm still trying.
So
Yeah.
we're getting to Vic Silayan as Dr. Dungal, our subject of much dialogue. I can't describe this character. He's a person that people bounce ideas off of, and because he knows the local situation.
he's kind of our Obi-Wan. I mean, he knows like you said, knows the local lore, knows, identifies and has a theory about the painting, or asks some questions about facts or fiction, or fact or dream, or whatever his game is.
Yeah.
He's a learning man.
He is.
He's a
He's
learned
by
man.
far the most interesting thing in the movie to me, because like he's just sitting there waiting for you to come along and talk to him and find out what's going on.
Yeah.
That's just fascinating. Like,
Yeah.
what is this guy?
I think he's God.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, in this scenario,
about that.
interesting.
He's like our wow, jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but didn't he that means God killed it or died dumbly. That's what that means.
No, he didn't die. We didn't see him. That's off
Oh,
screen.
that's right. We didn't. You're right.
Yeah, off
Yeah.
screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could have survived, just like Selleck.
He's like, yeah, he just
like,
he just
I better
he just
leap
flew-
out of this vehicle.
Yeah,
sure.
he just flew off. He's just like, my work here is done, and he flew off. It
Ejector
was
seat,
great.
go.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong now that I think about it. It's a movie that really has all the ingredients, but the execution is strange. It's a weird like Randy says, like not really knowing what a real couple is like. That's a weird thing to do in your movie that hinges on you having sympathy for the couple. You know?
Right.
Not just having sympathy for them, but like relating to this couple.
We take a lot of things for granted now. Now, movies aren't easy by any means to make in modern times, but imagine trying to make a movie in 1972. That's a lot. You got a whole cast and crew over in the Philippines. You've got to capture all the shots. There's no chance. There's no going back and for edits, and there's no special effects touch up stuff. There is, but it's really hard.
Yeah.
And so the movies were hard.
there sure was plenty of secondary audio.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I had no problem going into some closet and recording Tom Selleck talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really, the ADR in this was pretty bad. And when they didn't do ADR, I wished for it because it was so poorly recorded.
Really low, quiet. Yeah.
I kept thinking in my so I watched it on Tubi. I know it's also on Freevee. Where'd you guys watch it?
Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Amazon Prime, yeah.
Prime has it because Freevee's part of Prime. Were you subjected to commercials during it or no?
No,
Okay.
not a one.
I watched it on Freevee.
Do you watch?
That's the deal.
Well, that's Amazon's thing. But I think if you pay the extra to not have commercials on Prime, you don't get them there either. I think. I don't know.
Why would I not want a bathroom
Well,
break?
it's because you're weird. You're unlike the rest of us. You are a very strange person, and it's fun.
like, oh, here's a commercial. Time to go pee. Oh, here's a commercial. Time to go grab a Coke.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I actually initially thought, even though it's rated R, I thought maybe I could watch this with my wife and kid.
No.
And so I put the movie on while they were with me, and the very first thing you see is a naked woman being tortured. Yeah. And I was just like, all right, I'll just watch it on my computer, guys.
And as Jerry Seinfeld would say, that was some bad nudity. There's good nudity and bad nudity. That's bad nudity.
Yeah, you don't ever want to see a whip hitting the boobs. A whip hitting the boobs is just unfortunate.
Some people do. I don't.
It's not. Yeah.
I know somebody out there's into it. I'm here to tell you that not everybody wants that.
I'm not
okay?
here
By the
to
way-
kink shame, but you know.
By the way, if you actually paid attention, the actress was getting hit by a soft rope.
Oh yeah.
And it was barely hitting her.
Yeah.
And the sound you were hearing was that of a leather whip that was like a dozen feet long being cracked in the air.
Yeah.
And it sounded like they were cutting her in half.
Yeah.
It was so discordant.
Yeah, that stuff is weird. I don't know. Like, I kind of kept thinking that girl, the main girl, wasn't going to be subjected to, here, let's rip your shirt off and then torture you. But there she went. She was like, okay.
No, she was the finale. She's like, oh, we've shown shirtless for a while now. Now we're gonna get Chris involved. Our main
So
character.
you're saying there were four different boobs that you got to see, and hers were the best, so they were saved for last.
That's a really great
It
question.
felt like it was leading up to that, right?
Boobs. Come on, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, you count. I saw 12.
6 total boobs.
Hey, Marge, I saw 15 boobs today.
You know what's funny?
The lady in the morgue.
This is what I like about Tubi, though. Tubi has this movie sitting right next to Gen 1 Transformers cartoons for me.
Nice.
And I'm just like,
hey, when you get through watching,
why are you on here? This is weird. Yeah, when you get done, wait, which way do you go, though? What do you start with? Transformers, or do you start with?
I think you definitely start with the soft core porn Transformers and move on to the hardcore stuff.
Yeah, the soft core porn that is Transformers. Yeah, that's the one.
I actually thought Amazon Prime was pretty clever. It had so you watched this, or you liked this. I don't know which it was. It was like, check out The Boys. That's all right. That's not too bad.
That'll fit. Sure.
Interview with the Vampire, the new one, the new TV series.
Okay.
Show.
You know, I'm like, hey, it's something called A Discovery of Witches. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's another AMC series. More geared towards the ladies. It's kind of like the Twilight or True Blood. You know, handsome vampires, and just discovering that she's a witch kind of thing.
I love that you classify it as geared towards the ladies.
Well, after 3 seasons, I finally said, I guess this is more geared towards me.
Yeah.
Was this geared towards this movie, Daughters of Satan? Was it geared towards the ladies or the dudes?
No, I think it was geared towards a very specific 1970s audience. Is what I think this was. I think
there's always this. I'm always kind of torn on exploitation films, because it's on one hand it's like oh, they're kind of almost saying some of these people now have the power in their own hands to make these decisions to but then on the other hand it's like, this is definitely exploitive, and there's like this weird coming together that makes me feel very uncomfortable, which adds to the movie for me. It's like, oh, I don't think anybody wanted to be here, but I don't know. Daughters of Satan.
I mean,
it's weird.
It's weird. It's a weird thing that I don't think you even make this movie now unless it's full of special effects and big star names. Like, this is like
Tom Selleck comes back. He's not doing Blue Bloods.
Mia Goth. Is he done now? Has he quit?
Is he done?
Thought there was. I always
more?
mix it up with him and what Kevin Costner's doing with Yellowstone. I always mix them up. That's another show my mom loves. He'll forever be. It's her and Richard Chamberlain. Those two.
Oh wow, there's a specific age of mother that the whole Thornbirds like Richard Chamberlain thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
According to this, they finished their 14th season of Blue Bloods and consider it the last.
So they're done. Oh, the whole thing's over.
He's
Not
free.
just him.
So
leaving.
that's good.
Okay.
Granddaughters of Satan.
Is he still? He's still a big deal in the NRA, right? He's like a grand wizard or whatever they do in there. I don't know what they do.
Grand wizard.
What is it they do? They do like they do
gun stuff.
Well, they definitely do gun stuff, but it's like I forget what it was. There's a head of the thing, right? I know that, but there's like this whole other deal. I don't know what it is. I shouldn't be allowed to talk about things I don't know
the
about.
NRA and the Freemasons merged.
What level do you need to be to talk to a chair on a stage?
Oh, you got to be the E level, which is short for Eastwood.
Can you believe it's been 12 years since that's done? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we thought
I thought he was old then.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's pretty old. Have you seen, you know what they need to do? Sorry, total side note, but you brought it up, so I'm blaming you.
Sure.
They need to get Clint Eastwood's son, Scott Eastwood, another Scott, to revive the Dirty Harry series. And the reason they need to do that is nothing's bigger than like John Wick likes right now, right? Like everybody wants to have their own John Wick, like Nobody and these other movies. Bring that back. Now he's a dirty cop, which I know is a sensitive subject, blah, blah, blah. But I think, revenge story, whatever, and having Scott Eastwood do it and set it in the 70s. Holy shit, dude.
Okay.
Why don't you just pay me, Hollywood?
So reboot it. I was thinking you're going to like say, oh, make it a sequel, make him the actual son of Dirty Harry.
Hell no, not that. That'd be bad.
Yeah, so that would be bad.
I think it would be bad. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't. Maybe I don't know.
I like that.
Maybe I don't know what bad would be. But that seems
you don't know bad.
You watched Daughters of Satan this week. You don't know what bad.
Yeah, I don't know what bad is.
We don't know bad. We're gonna watch. I don't need to watch Twisters before we watch it for Film Sack, right? We're gonna eventually watch it for Film Sack.
That's my plan.
I just watched it. You want to watch it again?
No,
Let's watch it again.
Is it? It's not streaming yet, is it? Or is it?
Yeah, let's put it next summer. That would be nice.
It's not
streaming. It is streaming,
but
you got to pay for it. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
Pay to rent kind of thing. Still,
that's still really fast. Holy crap! Yeah. What's the one I just heard? August 30th, freaking Borderlands is going to be streaming.
Oh, wow.
No way.
Yeah. I just read that today. Or maybe it's a buy and rent thing, but that's the fastest anyone's ever done it. Like,
I know.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I think is when I saw it in the theaters, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You did see it in theaters. I keep forgetting you saw that.
August 8th, it opened. So
you're the one that saved me from the pain. I was going to see it because I was like, well, do a lot of video game stuff. It'd be good for me to do for content.
And it's not a horrible movie, but it's just I wanted more. It could have easily been more and should have been more.
Yeah.
And better hands.
Yeah, better hands. Not as if that's another way of saying get Eli Roth out of there. Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I was fine with the casting, and I feel like it's fine for what it is, and I kind of know what to expect. But I think, going in a totally different direction would probably have been smarter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you would totally have to. You just had to direction complete.
Yeah, or that's weird. You faded out kind of there.
Yeah, it wasn't me this time. Wow.
Are you okay, Brian?
Yeah, you all right? Is everything okay?
Blink twice if you're all right.
Yeah, just want to make sure you're okay. Okay, good.
I just want to point out Borderlands is 10% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I just don't understand Rotten Tomatoes anymore. I don't get it.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Well, and we talked about this. Like, The Postman is 11% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's just wrong.
Like, how? What? It just doesn't make sense.
I'm biased, though. I realize that on that. Like,
here's what I'm getting at. If it's a bad movie, but 1 out of 10 reviewers call it a good movie, I want to know what is wrong with them. That 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that?
Well, look, okay. So the big argument these days is the difference between user reviews and professional reviews, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why there's a disparity there, but it will always give whatever your bias is, it will give it a boost. In other words, if you see a bunch of negative professional reviews, but you see 85 to 90% user reviews, it will only feed into your bias as to you thinking that professional reviewers are terrible and they're awful and no one should ever read them. Or you'll go, this audience is trying to, tweak the score or whatever. Mm-hmm. There's no winning.
Review bomb or whatever.
Yeah, and it bums me out because I don't know if this was ever true, but I miss the day that I think existed where I could rely on a review site and say, this is going to give me a good idea of what to expect. Now, nobody trusts anything. So why do we even have it? Like, should we just F the whole thing, Rotten Tomatoes ourselves into the ground and be done?
Yeah, the movie theaters need to institute some sort of, you buy your ticket online, you get a QR code, and then you go and you have to somehow scan that QR code to get access to leaving a review in Rotten Tomatoes. So at least that they can, they still won't keep people from buying tickets and review bombing, but at least they can limit it to people who definitely seen the movie.
Oh, I like that.
Leaving a review.
But what you just described is just a step toward making the audience score into the critic score.
Sort of.
And because surely the critics actually all watch the movie, right?
Well, yeah, of course.
So you know what I'm saying? Like
or let AI watch it for them.
But are you arguing the point that you want the audience score to reflect people who haven't seen the movie?
Yeah, I don't.
No, I'm arguing that the critic score is the only thing that could ever matter. The audience score, unless you turn it into a system that makes a small number of critics, which you already have, the audience score is just useless.
Oh, interesting.
So you're saying that the audience, so you're saying that with critics, there's actually a rule set
Right.
They all kind of follow the same kind of rules of what is objectively good about.
Well, I don't know if it's that, because you don't want that. Like, there's certain reviewers, I hear them review a thing and I go, oh yeah, I agree with them most of the time, so I'm interested to hear what they have to say. And I do that with games or anything else. But if there's somebody who I always see is like the opposite of me, well, maybe I don't like their review as much. So maybe the answer is we just should stop relying on other people's shit.
My take is this.
Oh, go ahead, Brian.
My take is this. When it comes to movies that I know are going to be good, solid movies, because I watch trailers, I respect what the critics had to say. When it's a movie that I know is just going to be good fun, I don't listen to nothing the critics had to say. I only listen to the audience because I'm just interested in, did people have fun? Because that's what I'm looking for. So that's usually how I look at it.
That's a good way to look at it. Sure. Yeah. I get into, I do like to see nuance, and I like to read differences of opinion and that sort of thing. But we painted ourselves into a corner, with how people can game it. So the fact that anybody can go in there and go, I hated this movie, even though they've never seen it, is lame. Or if somebody on Steam does this, they have to own the game. But it will say, I like the way they do it. And it's hard to do this in movies. I realize that. But in gaming, it's like, all right, you go to Steam, you bought the game, you played for 30 seconds. That's enough for you to leave a review. And then it shows that you return the product. Well, it's easy for me to discount your review and go, well, you just came in here to troll. If it's a free to play game, especially because there's no stakes. They can just play it. At least with that, though, they have to have something on their hard drive. And I'm better it's easier for me to determine if they're just being an ass or not, because they don't have an hour or an hour or less on how much they played or whatever. I don't know how you do it with movies. You can't control that.
Maybe the QR code appears during the credits of the film, so only the people who stick around through the credits actually get to scan the QR code. They have their phones ready, and they're like, "I am so going to leave a review about this on Rotten Tomatoes."
Yeah, maybe.
But I know we had a big discussion about this, a roundtable discussion about this, and I think where I've landed is I kind of ignore Rotten Tomatoes unless it's a score under 20 or over 80. Everything in the middle, I kind of wave away. But if it's something that, all right, well, audiences and critics have thought this is really bad, or audience and critics have thought this is really good, doesn't feel like it's a danger of review bombing, just because there's got to be some balance in there. But if things are looking really good or things are looking really bad, then I tend to kind of put a little bit more credence into
this is why I say you have to have a bad line. You have to draw a line and say, below this line, I am going to trust that the world is telling me something. Like bringing it back to Daughters of Satan. If you go to the IMDb ratings for Daughters of Satan, you can see that there is a problem with humanity. Like, people are bad at judging movies, and you can see it because there are 8% of people who have rated this movie have rated it an 8, a 9, or a 10. 8% of people, and they're objectively wrong. They are flat wrong. That can't. You have to ask yourself, are those even people? Like, maybe that's some sort of weird service that's coming along and botting the IMDb ratings.
Nope. What do you mean nope?
Okay.
Why are you saying nope?
Nobody is reviewing Daughters of Satan unless they're into movies like Daughters of Satan. That's the reason why the score would be higher than it needs to be, is because
no one's watching this.
No one's watching this unless they're looking for it.
Unless exactly.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Nobody's doing that. But for a movie that's out, we'll just keep using Borderlands. You can immediately see the problem. Like, you just immediately go, oh, well, the critics hate it. The audience is a little more kind to it, or, whatever. I guess it'd have to be something more controversial. Something that's like a Star Wars movie always gets review bombed. No matter whether it's good or not, it doesn't matter. The Star Wars fan base is a freaking toxic nightmare these days. And so, that going in, and it just becomes useless for me. It's like, well, what am I even going here for? Either you're on the side of, well, professional reviewers don't know shit, this movie sucks, or the audience is gaming everything. I can't trust the users because I happen to be biased toward the film. I don't know. The whole thing just feels like I don't have a home there. That's what I'm saying.
I want to like the movie. Like, that's just, I'm spending some time watching a work of art, even if it's terrible art. It's time that I don't want to feel totally wasted. So I'm naturally predisposed to like the movie. But when I say that, I'm saying I can like something that's a 4 on a 10 scale. That's a 3 on a 10 scale. I can like it. I have to like do a Zen trick, but I can like it. You know, when I turn and watch a thing that is not that good and like it, calling it a 10 is just a lie. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Wait. Well, I mean, but we don't all have. It's art. At the end of the day, once again, it's still art. I mean, and this movie told a story. The basics are there for me for Daughters of Satan. So I mean, I got from A to B. Now it might not be the type of story you want to hear, or maybe the way that you don't like the pacing, maybe you don't like whatever you don't like. But I mean, if someone says they like the movie, I'm like, okay, I can see where you might like the movie. Maybe this fits into what you like. That's fine. You're gonna give it a 10.
Yeah, I'm sure there are people who really like this unapologetically and unironically, and that's fine.
Right.
I can't fight them, you know.
If you don't give it a 10, give it a 10.
Or like it for what it represents more than the quality of the movie itself. Like, oh, this is 10 out of 10, the kind of thing when you're looking for satanic and nudity exploitation movies, you can't go wrong with Daughters of Satan.
So here's my background. My first true consumption of media was horror comics, in the form of one of my aunts giving me a big bag of comics. So this is really my first.
You're talking like Tales
cultural
from the Crypt and those things, right?
Yeah. So this is like that's my first cultural touchstone for consumption of like media. Right, of horror. And also that family, which had a lot of kids in it, liked to watch these Saturday afternoon movies and stuff that was a bunch of trash, and sometimes those edited versions of stuff like you would see like Daughters of Satan and all this weird stuff. So it's like some of my first impressions. So to me, it speaks to me because that's where I learned a lot of the language from, art language.
Right.
And so I probably hold it a lot higher than Randy, who probably didn't have experience.
You know what it was like? You know, it was like, it's like cartoons when we were growing up. Like I'm watching, if I watched Super Friends or watched Thundercats or whatever, Voltron, I know somewhere deep inside me, I know that this is just kind of trash. It's not good.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter. A, because it's kind of all we had and it was only on Saturdays or whatever. But B, there's value. Like I look back on it now, I'll go watch Thundercats and I have a cheeseball good time.
Yeah.
Well, it's not, I cannot in good conscience say 5 out of 5.
Right.
Well,
but I can say I love this and I'll watch it again.
Right.
And know that it's a 0.5 star. You know what I mean? Oh, it's hard to explain.
It's so okay. Also, the other part too to this is that Randy he holds reviews in high regard. We've talked about in the past. He grew up on this kind of stuff. He likes movie reviews. He likes that kind of stuff, and he holds it very, in a high place. I don't give a shit about scores, and so I don't care. So if I drop a 10 somewhere, I don't care because scores only mean a little bit to me, not much.
Yeah, you're not here to score. Just like the movie said, you're not here to score. Yeah.
You're talking
Are
about.
you here to score, Tom Selleck? No, I'm here
to score. What's that, Randy?
You're talking about scoring art as though it's some sort of like inhuman thing, whereas the way I see it, the only point of humans is to relate to other humans, like to communally share things and so on. And so like saying to another person whether or not you like art feels like a very human thing to do. And it feels like when you talk about very human things to do, you're talking about things that are important to people. Maybe not everybody, but just like generally speaking. I was thinking about the last time we watched a terrible movie. It was that Super Snooper thing.
That was pretty bad,
right?
Yeah.
And how we all we had a good time watching it and talk about it, really more talking about it than watching it, right? Like in a vacuum, you're not going to have a really good time watching that. But like the fact that you knew that the other three of us were watching it and then we get together and talk about it, we have such fun, that really elevates it for you. And so the problem with scores is that we tend to put them into a vacuum and say, this is just me, this is just the movie. And so, I could see why you would say, well, scoring's bullshit,
Right.
Yeah.
But for me, and I think for a lot of people, even watching a movie by yourself in the dark, it's still a communal experience because you're going to be able to talk to others.
Well, I mean, people made it, right? So, I mean, absolutely. So that somebody's trying to express the things that mean something to them. So you're not watching alone, even if you never even share it with anybody else. The fact that you're watching something that was created by an artist, you've already completed the cycle. The cycle of somebody creating something and then you enjoying it, you've already made your connection. Whether or not you review it.
There's a good reason you've never heard of Hollingsworth Morse before this. You know,
well,
yes and no. Made bad art,
right?
Well, right. So. Yeah. Plus, not the fact is so far gone. I mean, most of us were very young when this movie came out. And so we don't know people who saw this. I mean, how many people, you said that everybody has seen something, Randy, earlier. But I mean, if you went out and asked who's seen Daughters of Satan, probably very few people.
Oh, very few. Right?
Unless you asked in a certain age group.
Yeah, well, even then, they would have to be people who are kind of into schlocky horror, and I don't know who those people are, but so, we were 2 years old, Brian, when this was a movie,
2 or 3, yeah.
So we don't know shit until, and I'd never heard of this until you guys suggested it. That was my first time. Yeah, like, hey, we should watch Daughters of Satan. I'm like, okay, I don't know what.
I happen to know that we crapped on that movie that you all talked about earlier. That we all considered bad movie but good fun. And I know at least one person in our listening audience was very upset that we didn't care for it because it was very important to them.
What movie?
Sure. The Super Snooper?
Yeah.
What movie? Really?
Yeah. Well, that's okay.
Was it the Italian director dude was upset with us, or who was that?
Absolutely. He listens weekly and he cannot believe.
He couldn't believe we did it. Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah, I want to bring our arguments together to the overlap where we totally agree. And that is, we completely agree that there is not a thing called the wisdom of the crowd.
That was right. Yeah, I agree. That thing
doesn't exist. Like it's a bad idea if you try to go get your wisdom from a crowd of people.
Yeah, it used to be. I remember being a big believer in this concept when it was first being talked about in the kind of early 2.0 web time. And people would say, "Oh yeah, the wisdom of crowds. We'd have a big social space, and it's what they all come together and agree on that really is the truth. It's not one individual or whatever." And I'm like, "Yeah, it sounds good. That sounds communal. Like we're all going to be working together on some common goals." And in practice, it's horseshit, utter horseshit.
Well, it's so much larger than what it used to. Like when we grew up, it was Siskel and Ebert, but the problem is that was only mostly an American perspective. So the internet's much bigger than that.
Well, yeah, and there's always been reviewers that weren't necessarily on TV and stuff, but you know, it was a smaller market. You're not wrong about that. Now everyone has a megaphone. Everybody can have a review. You can go start a show tomorrow that's just reviews of movies, and you're absolutely right. Like the landscape of it is so different now, and I think everybody hoped the idea of wisdom of crowds, like the conglomerate would have the best ideas.
Right.
Again, as a noble thought. But scale is hard, man. And if we've learned anything, humanity at scale causes war, death, and famine. Right. It's bad.
Orgasm?
Yeah.
My favorite thing about art.
Did you say orgasm? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I said orgasm. That's what you said. That's what I heard. I was like, did you say orgasm?
That's also hard at scale.
Yeah.
That's hard to scale up. It really is.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What was I going to say? So I think art is the best when it sparks conversation. So if everything was just good, it would be no good, in my opinion. So I like the fact that we have such different opinions, because that's exactly what art is supposed to do. Art is supposed to do that. It's supposed to create that emotion, that feeling of conversation, whether you're talking about the subject. Hopefully it creates a thing where you come closer together, but it can create too.
Well, I don't think we disagree that much. I feel like we're all kind of on the same page on this, with the exception of, you know, maybe how much of a professional review matters. But see, that's the whole point. This is where I think I can see where Randy is coming from.
Oh,
because I can't trust Joe Schmo and his trailer to give me an honest answer. Who do I trust? Well, I got to trust somebody who maybe does this for a living and they have higher stakes and they've been around it forever, or whatever your criteria is. So it becomes the wisdom of people I trust. Not the wisdom of crowds, not the wisdom of randos, but wisdom of maybe like-minded people. Yeah, or time-honored adherence to quality. I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody who hasn't lied to me before, and they are consistent, and then I believe them, and then I start following them or whatever.
And then you're able to look around at people that are like you that have the same predilections and say, is The Postman supposed to be 11% on Rotten Tomatoes? And I'd be like, well, I could see why people hate it in Europe, but I like it, so maybe you will too.
Yeah, maybe exactly. And also, here's the other thing: how was I going to put that? I had a whole point I was going to make that was really great, and it was going to really
it was going to change everything. It was going to really shut you guys up.
It was going to change everything. It was going to make all of this make sense. We were going to come to the perfect crescendo, and I can't verbalize it. Well, all right then.
Daughters of Satan. I think we've probably given this more analytical look than probably it deserves.
Isn't that funny?
Sure.
It's funny, right?
Yeah.
Like it's one of the worst, most empty movies we've ever done, but we've gotten to a philosophical place that's like deeper than we usually do.
I think culturally this movie is much more important because of the snapshot in time that we were all, there was so much going on in our society and culture, and oh my gosh, historically speaking, I think this is just a little peek at what was going on and people trying different things, and some of it falling just face first. Most of it falling face first.
Yeah, from a film, like what are we doing in movies perspective? Like, don't forget, 72 is the year that Godfather came out and is considered one of the greatest films of all time, and it holds up. You see it now, and you don't even feel like it was filmed that long ago. Yeah, except everyone's so young. But to say that was made the same year as Daughters of Satan is, it doesn't feel right. Right. Doesn't feel like that should be the case. But you can do that with any year. You can say, the year Jurassic Park came out, one of the worst freaking effects-driven films of all time. I can't think of one, but...
Well, we watched it recently. It was the same year as Jurassic Park. And I said it was Ray Harryhausen, what the crap was it?
Yeah, what did we see? Do you remember?
It was RoboCop 3. He was flying around.
Right. And so, for all the intents and purposes, that may as well be 50 years apart. Like, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
So... whatever. This movie will never be forgotten because of us. We've done it. We did.
That's right.
I think.
Do you remember what your 666th episode of Film Sec was?
Yeah.
We'll happily say, "Yep, Daughters of Satan."
If it wasn't Tom Selleck's, I think theatrical debut, it would be gone. If Tom Selleck hadn't become somebody,
I think we wouldn't have. I don't think we would have watched it because that's one big fascinating point is, this was Tom Selleck's first film or early film, and
was it his first? It's like second or something, right?
It's something like that. I'm not sure.
Early though. You're right. It's very early. It must be early. Let's see.
It was the first appearance of his mustache, though.
Every time he shaves it,
he must have had that thing in high school, right? When did he start growing that thing?
Yeah.
Let's see. His first role was something called Lancer, as a TV series in 1969. And then let's see. That's all TV.
Myra Breckenridge was the first movie, and he played Stud.
Oh, so that wasn't his starring role.
Definitely had a mustache for that one. Yeah. I don't even see stills from the movie, and I'm sure he had a.
Maybe his first starring role.
He doesn't,
or did he not? He doesn't.
Oh. I'm looking right now. I can't believe that's him. Hold on.
I can't look at it. It'll scare me.
That can't be.
My reality will be shaken to its core.
This might be a different actor because he's not top billed in this. It's a small role.
Yeah.
Let me just.
It's not the one with the woman with the cowboy hat whipping some guy who's tied to a table, right?
It's. But that's the first one I saw. And you know what?
Yeah.
He has no mustache.
He has no mustache, but I don't think that's Tom Selleck.
That's not him there. No. I don't know who that guy is, but look at here. He is.
There's another one.
I'll share it here. That's him in that movie.
Oh, look at that! Yeah, that's definitely him. And no mustache.
Yeah, that's totally him.
Not a fan of the.
He has a beautiful smile. Look at that.
Does he though?
It's like that season of wasn't he mustacheless on a season of Friends when he came back?
Yeah, that's right. He was.
Everyone, that's a different guy there. Every time he shows up with a no mustache, I feel like that's just the joke, right? Everyone makes fun of it or says, "Why would you not grow your mustache?
Why would you destroy the most beautiful thing that's ever been created?" I mean, come on, ridiculous.
Right. And every time he would do that, I remember my mom being upset. She'd be like, I can't believe he shaved it for this. And
he ruined his face.
And my attitude about mustaches normally is shave that ugly thing. because it's ugly. Like this kind of mustache, I mean, on most men, I can't stand looking at it. I think it makes you look 1,000 years old. It makes you look stupid and porny.
I know, yeah.
But when he does it, when he wears it, it's just different. I don't know how it worked for him that way.
For sure, yeah.
Is he wearing that mustache? Is that mustache wearing him? I don't know.
Listen, I keep mine nicely trimmed and clean, and
yeah, but you got a beard to offset it. You know what I mean?
I do, yeah.
If you were just stashing it, we'd have to have a a
we'd be having this talk, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing is I don't know really anyone who does just the mustache now. I just don't know that.
I know more people.
They're doing it because it's becoming popular. Yeah,
it's like the
coming back,
scarf wearing, latte drinking, avocado toast eating. What other? Give me some more stereotypes. Vampire Weekend listening.
Sure. Nick had one for about a week, and he looked
and
like
Nick looked good.
He did look good.
He looked pretty good. I have to admit, he looked all right.
But then you put one on Justin Bieber, and he looks like he should be driving a white panel van.
Yeah, why is that? Why does he look so bad with it? But also, when he grows like full beard and mustache, I think Bieber looks pretty good. Not that I'm keeping track of Bieber that much, but you know what I mean.
You seem to know an awful lot about
my
the Bieb.
Bieber doing today?
Are you in the Bieb? Close. Real quick here, I didn't. This is something I just didn't know, but Tom Selleck later in the series Magnum PI, they did a storyline that was almost identical to this. It took place in a tropical setting, the main character driving a sports car, getting chased by a dog. There was a whole like fake witch thing. I don't know if they did that on purpose, if that was like intentional, but it made me want to watch Magnum PI. I'll admit.
Yeah, absolutely. This whole thing made me want to watch. It felt like an episode of Magnum PI. It really did.
Kind of did.
Like it was undercover, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, it's maybe a bad episode of Magnum PI, but still kind of had a vibe of one. He's meant to be. Magnum is one of the greatest things ever. It really is a wonderful show. It still holds up. It's fun. He's charming as hell. Yeah. And I think it's worth watching.
This could have been a 2-part special where he gets married and goes on a honeymoon for Magnum PI. Yeah. And then
I could see
except
that.
he doesn't die, she dies.
Right. Yeah. Well, and who doesn't want to see that?
I don't.
Oh, we should talk about the ending a little bit because that ending was gnarly. I didn't see it coming.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know she was going to kill him.
Either. Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't happen that much.
It was the only ending possible.
Bordas with a mustache. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I just want to explain. The Orville has become like my favorite television show of all time.
So much.
Like you rewatch the Orville if you haven't. It's so good.
Yeah, it's great.
And you just like you guys talk about people who, look funny with a mustache. I think the funnier the better is actually my thought.
All right. You prefer a more comedic mustache approach to life. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And Tom Selleck, he looks a little funny, just a tiny bit funny with a mustache.
Yeah. I mean, I just take him differently than when he doesn't. And I don't know what that means about me, but I see him and I go, mustache. All right, let's go. And if I see him without it, I go, oh, what are we doing?
What are we doing? Your upper lip is not strong enough to pull this off.
Yeah.
What is happening here?
Do you guys think so he was almost Indiana Jones famously.
Yes.
Do you think he would have gone full mustache or no mustache as Indiana Jones?
Oh, interesting question. Yeah, I think full mustache because that the 1930s, 40s would have been a ideal time for.
They could have did a whole joke
the
about
mustache. Yeah,
a little joke about Hitler's mustache versus his mustache.
Well, that guy doesn't know how to grow a mustache.
Yeah, you got Nazis. You may as well. It's a good point.
Right. Yeah.
Do you remember Tom Selleck in the movie In and Out?
No.
The one about the burger
Kevin
joint?
Kline.
Kevin Kline, yeah. Kevin Kline is a married man who realizes or not a married man, but he's living life as a straight man but realizes that he's probably gay. And Tom Selleck comes along and he has a clean shaved face and it's disturbing.
I'll bet it is. Yeah, because you're not used to it. I mean, that's all this is, right? If he was always a clean-shaved face, we don't even talk about it. It's like, oh, that's just Tom Selleck. What's he wearing a mustache for? But because he became so iconic with that mustache, it's like impossible for me to not see him and not, want to tell him, don't do that.
Don't do that.
You're Tom Selleck. Like, you know the rule. You know how this is supposed to go. Don't be wearing no mustache.
Right.
All right. Any other thoughts before we go to clippy time?
We talked about it offline. We did, but man, I wanted some of that tech, that retro tech that was in there, like that electric keyboard he had in his office that was white and red. That thing was so freaking
typewriter.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and I also
awesome.
loved the idea of Dr. Dangle? Dr. Dangles, is that was his name?
Dr. Dangle.
Riding around with a complete cassette recorder so that he could record all of his thoughts
while he's driving
on the road.
Yeah, that's a 69 Mercedes-Benz 200.
Yeah, that's nice.
And that car, I want that car.
Did it come stock with that tape recorder?
I mean, no way.
Yeah, okay.
Doubt it. I would love either of those cars. I would I'll take the sports car too. That thing was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Except for that ugly color combo, but who cares? You can repaint it. You know?
Who felt raped during that scene where Tom Selleck goes to Kitty's bedroom?
House. Yeah, she's like, I just like the fact that he just sits on the side of the bed and just continues to have a conversation with her, like, no big deal.
Yeah.
Did you come here to lay me or whatever? I guess we'll probably.
Right.
I'm sure we'll hear the clips.
Oh, hell yeah, we're gonna hear that. Yeah. She was.
I don't need
full
any
of great
erotic
clips.
assist.
In fact, she was the saving grace of the audio department.
I'm sure.
When that scene came up,
like 90% of the clips are Kitty.
Yeah, there's so many of her. It took a long time, but when we finally got there, it was like, all right, here we go. This lady's weird. Let's get weird.
Yeah.
She kept saying weird shit. It was amazing.
My only other note that I wrote that we haven't covered yet is the painter, right? The artist who did that painting. Apparently, it was one of a series of paintings he did of multiple angles of the same witch burning. So it was like, how fast, like speed painting, right? Like, okay, now another one over here.
Yeah, that's
it's actually mentioned in the movie that he painted it about 10 years after the fact. So,
gotcha. So
from memory.
Oh, do they say that? I didn't hear that in there. So I wasn't the only one completely and utterly unfooled by them cutting out a picture of that lady's face and pasting it on that thing and then painting around it. That looked like total shit to me. I was like, come on, guys. A little bit better than that. I mean, you could have just like the other people in the background, the other women, they look fine. For some reason, the main one just like there was even a shot where, if you look at a certain angle and the light hits the canvas, oil painting or even acrylic gets like a shine. So you got all these little sparkly shines around it, except her actual face, which was clearly a photograph pasted on top of it. And I was like, all right, come on. I could have done better than this.
People.
And I'm not even saying,
I can buy the Satan stuff, but this painting, too far.
Stuff like that drives me crazy. Just do better work.
Who wanted to pet Nicodemus? I did. Pet Nicodemus.
Of course you did. There's no such thing as a bad dog. Dogs are great. I don't like movies that try to portray a dog bad, and also him going full cat mode, like F off. You know what I mean? I like cats too,
cats
but
don't take a bite out of your ass.
Yeah. It's not a bad. See, there's another good impression that doesn't need a full mimic. It's just I knew who you were doing right then. That's good.
Right.
Yeah. I like that a lot. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Dunaway, you were saying.
Oh, I was gonna say I was trying to think of chicken the buckets, but a couple of people I
couldn't think of any.
Yeah, well, I was kind of interested in the let's play the F game, and I was like, oh, where's this going?
Oh yeah, the F or F,
like
F or F.
Facts or was it fantasy? What was it?
Fake or fact?
Faker, fantasy versus fact.
Figment or fact?
Figment. That was the word he used.
Yeah.
Figment. Yeah.
Oh, I don't. Oh, right. Okay. Now I remember this whole interaction. I forgot about that.
Yeah, when we were talking about the base for the Virgin Mary statue challenge.
Were you guys hoping that we get like an actual Satan at some point? Like maybe a devil would come out and go, you guys did great work or whatever. I kind of did. I kind of.
Oh yeah,
that.
sure.
Like or maybe even
a cameo at the ritual or something.
Yeah. Like just just something like. Finally the Dark Lord has come to tell everyone they did great work, or I don't know.
I think it's kind of a spoiler, like, religion's, based on faith. But if God was just sitting out there, it'd be kind of hard to, takes the whole faith thing right away.
Yeah,
right?
It does, which is which is an interesting dilemma, right? And
right. So I mean, if you have Satan there's no faith, right? It's just
sure. But then wouldn't you go, oh shit, I better serve him. I better do it. And that's also because it's Satan. He should have the opposite. So God wants you to have faith in him. This is the what people tell each other. You got to have faith in me. I'm not going to just show you.
And
But
so does
Satan,
George Michaels.
but Satan should go. Satan should go. Well, no, I'll just be out front because that's the opposite of what God would do.
Yeah, they did the Lord's Prayer backwards. That's apparently the Satanic prayer.
That
So
was
yeah,
super
you would think
dumb.
so.
That was dumb.
I thought that was so fun.
I just
like-
annoyed me.
I was
it
trying to
takes
see
you-
if they were nailing it.
It takes you just a second to realize what the world she's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you realize this is the Lord's Prayer backwards. That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant
Yeah.
little bit of.
So if we're, that's my point though. If we're going to play reverse, you got to go full reverse and have everything
Yeah,
God does. You
yeah.
do the opposite. Yeah, do it all in
Yeah.
real reverse,
Yeah.
like a tape. I love that idea. Like that.
You really got to know your stuff to be able to do that.
I love
Yeah.
that idea. All right. Any other thoughts before we convene?
That rickety pier, man. I know too much about this movie.
Oh.
I let it go.
The
I need to let
pier.
it go.
The rickety pair. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That was a rickety pair. Also,
Yeah.
it's
as soon as you see the two of them on there, that thing's collapsing.
it also looked like a lake in California or something. I wasn't buying it.
Most of it was shot on location, but I think there was a couple of things shot.
Yeah,
Probably back home.
that looked like home. Those mountains back there
Yeah.
and stuff. I could be wrong, but
Probably.
well, all right then. I think it's time for us to dig deep into the bag called clips.
Let's hear some clips.
Let's do it. Here comes number one. This is a wrong tab. Here we go. Oh, they didn't move over. That isn't great. That's not a great thing. Let's see if I can fix that in no time at all and kill a little time while I do it here. There we go. Okay, Scott, you really F that up.
Dangles.
Dr. Dangles getting his dangle dongled. Okay, almost got it. Here we go. Just got to reverse order, drag and drop. All right. Our first clip is this one. I captured this song because I just think it's amazing, and I'm just going to play a little of it. I love that era's stupid.
Oh yeah, people are boarding the Love Boat right now.
Oh, that's perfect.
It really was.
Perfect.
Exactly what I'm seeing, like the B-roll footage of the two guys loading the giant rope.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there's always that scene like Gopher says, "Oh, I'll hurry up and go get whatever," and then they cut to B-roll of actual. I love that.
This is how boats work.
I love that. Skunk Pea.
Somewhere, sometime in the past, this knife was consecrated with salt, vinegar, and skunk.
Skunk pea, Mr. Ching.
Yes.
Why was he afraid to say
Yes.
pea?
Yeah.
That was weird.
Skunk.
Oh, I don't know if I can say that in the presence of a lady. Also, the two of those ingredients I really like on my potato chips. But,
Guess which ones?
Guess which one?
Yeah, not skunk.
I
pea.
would think it was to establish that she was a witch because she knew the things or something.
Sure, but what? Okay,
But it was
again.
hilarious.
It's about rules, but skunk pea is no different than any other pea. That's not the stuff that stinks.
That's
on a
what I was
skunk.
curious about. I was like, I don't think skunks pee stink. I think it's
No.
that sack thing they do, the whole sack.
Yeah.
Skunk sack.
Skunk sack, the little gland or whatever that.
Yeah.
I don't know how
the
they work.
spray.
Strange dialogue in a Satan movie.
What'd you do today?
Nothing, really. What did you do?
I was busy. Did you miss me?
Uh-huh.
Jeez.
I was busy. None of your damn business what I did, lady.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to meet you, my wife.
Yeah. That stuff was weird. They didn't do the
were
couple stuff.
newlyweds, man.
Yeah, but
Oh, what'd you
newlyweds
do? I
don't
was
talk like
busy.
that.
Okay.
Newlyweds don't talk like. I mean, they when they get all lovey-dovey, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Still kind of in the honeymoon
Sure.
period here.
When I
whatever.
got the first day after being married, I didn't even know that there was other toothpaste in the world. That was a week's worth. That was a week argument. The whole week was an argument over the toothpaste.
Wait a minute. You
Wow.
mean like there are different kinds of toothpaste? I don't understand. What was the? You mean the toothpaste you would use as opposed to somebody else using the toothpaste?
Correct.
Oh, weird. Wait, can you? So you
Why
guys?
would you not know that there are other brands of toothpaste, Brian?
Oh, I knew they
I'm
were
ready to have
there.
that argument. I'm ready to have that argument with you too.
Yeah,
I
that's
knew they
weird.
were there, but I thought that was all Yankee paste. I'm like, that's just what the Yankees like.
Yankee paste. I love the name Yankee paste.
Oh my
Can we
gosh.
find other
But I will
uses
say
for that?
this: that's how sheltered I was whenever I got married. Right? It's just like you don't know the little things I never would have thought of. You know, so our family always used. Well, our family always used this. Wait a minute, what have I done? I
Yeah.
didn't consider all the little things.
Well, yeah, because you have your own little shrouded thing. I feel
Yeah,
like
that's
there's a lot of that growing up
Sure.
for me too. I get it. Okay. How about this one here? This is what is this? I don't know. Here it is.
Can't tell you how or why it gets to me, but it does.
Oh. Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's garbage.
Yeah, it is garbage.
Garbage poop.
All right, here he is saying the name of the thing he's about to do later.
Magnum.
Magnum.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
It's a
mentioned
357 Magnum. It'll totally take somebody out.
as soon as he said that, I went, oh, pointed at the screen.
He said the thing.
Here's him hitting a nail on, or hitting his thumb with a hammer while trying to nail something into the wall for the painting. And I just like how he says, ouch.
Ouch.
There you go.
that definitely was post, right?
Oh, yeah. No, it's for real.
No, yeah,
That's for real?
That was
In line. Okay.
in the moment.
Ouch.
Yeah. Ouch. That's totally him.
That's what we call acting.
Here he is doing it again. This is a weird one. I don't quite remember this being in there, but I captured it, so it must be real.
And what the hell was that?
What the hell was that? He says.
All right, can we have it again without Dunaway?
Yeah, do it again.
Sorry, I
That's all right.
laughed because it was a fart. He got me. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you got you already, but they get you with the fart early. It's hard not to. I get it. Here it is again.
And what the hell was that?
Yeah, I know, right? Your wife's farting in bed.
You know what? There should be more farts like that in movies.
I agree. Like that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great
I
fart.
don't understand why there aren't more.
No,
And it's great because it sounds, because of the graininess of the audio, for whatever reason, that fart feels like it fits right
yeah,
there.
I overlaid it into some pause he had, so it made it feel like it was right there in the movie. All right. Dog in the road.
A dog stood in the middle of the road and tried to stop me.
Oh, what are you going to do?
Yeah, the dog tried to stop me. You could have slowed down and driven around that dog.
Yeah.
As I said at the beginning, it's just shocking to me that this dog survives the whole movie.
Yep. It seemed like
it's a dog that people, especially in the Philippines in 1972, you'd think people would just kill that dog instantly.
Yeah. Did they eat dogs there? I know they did in Korea because my brother's eating dog, but no.
No.
Okay. All right. I don't want to stick to Filipinos with anything that they don't do. You know, I don't want to be that guy.
Right. No, don't be that guy.
Something about dogs hating you.
What evil thing have you done to make dogs hate you?
Oh, yeah, the maid. Okay, I got a question about the maid. She's a maid with an accent until she's at that dinner where the curse lifts, and then she's a nurse without an accent, but she's in the painting when she's being the maid still, so she's not possessed yet. I don't get it. These are the rules they don't adhere to.
Yeah.
It annoys me.
But we're led to believe that she's just a possessed daughter of Satan for almost all the movie.
Yeah. But then they break that rule with the painting, and I'm annoyed by that is all I'm saying. Who am I? I don't know.
Who am I?
I don't know.
It's so exasperated. I don't know.
Come on, give me a break.
Here he is hating on dogs.
That dog has been bugging the hell out of me.
Yeah, he doesn't like the dog. Here's some yes and no.
Hallucinating, no. Troubling facts and happenings, yes.
Okay, great. He was very serious about his delivery.
Yeah.
Putting stuff in his mind.
They keep putting things into my mind.
Okay, all right. Or her mind, sorry. Here's a weird sound. I kind of like that. It's creepy. I don't know what it was saying, but I like it.
Christine.
Oh, it said Christine. Was it saying her name?
Chris.
Oh.
Or is it Christine?
I'm hearing Christine.
Let's play it again. I hear it now, too. I think you're right. Wake up, you son of a bitch.
Nicodemus, you son of a bitch, wake up.
All right.
Why doesn't this dog like me?
Yeah, I don't understand.
That is so Magnum, right? That is 100% Magnum PI.
This file supposedly, how did I write this? Oh, supposedly Brian Ibbett and the last thing. Let's see how you and your date were last seen.
Okay.
I think is how this goes. So let's find out what that means.
Skipping hand in hand along the dirt road. They were followed by a large dog.
Okay, that was the last they saw.
Okay.
Skipping hand the dirt road.
Emphasize dirt.
The dirt road.
The dirt road. That's good. All right. The booby line.
11 years, and you know he never once touched my breasts.
Wow.
Wow.
Very open. She was very open, this woman. Here she is again.
You think you're going to score?
Yeah.
Wow, that's from the prom date.
Yeah. Well, and then she couldn't be more wrong about this.
You are not going to lay me.
Well, I guess he never did. What do I mean?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he never did. And now she apologizes.
I'm sorry that all the men I know are such pigs.
Yeah. It's a real shame.
And don't want to lay me.
I'm not going to be laid by you. I remember that term in high school, like junior high, somebody would say, dude, you're going to get laid or something like that. And I remember thinking it was the worst thing you could say. Like, you would have, someone's going to hear you say the word laid.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like, like the most taboo thing.
Yeah, like it was super, I guess taboo's the right word. Like, it was just like you couldn't say it.
Ooh.
I don't know why. I just did.
It's because 3 years after you were born in Salt Lake City, they released this movie.
That's right.
Screwed everything up for
for a whole generation. You bastards.
For a whole generation. Yeah.
The two great grandfathers.
Could have been my great grandfather's great grandfather.
That's a lot of great grandfathers.
Yeah.
Great.
How did he
also
work
had
that
a
out?
mustache.
Yeah. What, Randy?
How did he work that out so fast? I was like,
yeah.
man, that was amazing. How this guy's a genealogist.
Well, we never really knew what his real job was, but at one point you're like, oh, he's like an art director, curator. Oh no, he's like an anthropologist of some sort, or like he kept being an expert for a hot second and then lose his mind or do something else or whatever. They're fishy human beings. This relationship, the marriage, everything about it, it's fishy. I don't like it. Moving on now to this, everyone. Here is your film sack checklist. Everyone had to sign a boobs out contract. Check.
Mm-hmm.
Never trust a Filipino coroner. Check. And he would go on to be the large man in a tiny car for years to come. Check. Star Trek connections. Got to be somebody somewhere.
No.
Nothing.
No, I mean, really nothing. Like, this was made in the Philippines in 1972. It's really nothing. So I decided to find some 2-hop connections.
Okay.
And these are what I found. So Tom Selleck was in Mr. Baseball with an actor named Toshi Shioya, who was in Bloodbath with George Takei.
Oh, well, definitely a connection.
Kitty here, Tani Guthrie, who played Kitty, was in Bound for Glory with Randy Quaid, who was in Independence Day with Brent Spiner.
Wow.
All right. I keep going. Barra Grant.
I like your 2 hops.
Yeah. Barra Grant, who played Tom Selleck's wife, Chris, was in It Ain't Easy with Lance Henriksen, who was in Jagged Edge with Michael Dorn.
Wow.
And then I got the last one, Vic Silayan, who played Dr. Sideburns. Vic Silayan, I have to go 3 hops for this one, but I decided to see how far I could go. Vic Silayan was in Last Reunion with Philip Baker Hall, who was in Enemy of the State with Scott Kahn, who was in Boiler Room with Anson Mount.
Wow.
I got from Vic Silayan to Anson Mount.
That's impressive. Also, I've never heard of Cutting Edge. Or Jagged Edge, sorry. Is that what you called it?
Jagged Edge. That's right. That was the Lance Henriksen, Michael Dorn movie.
Let's see.
I was thinking River's Edge when you said that. But
Jagged Edge.
Oh, River's Edge had Keanu Reeves in it,
Crispin
right?
Glover and Keanu Reeves, and yeah,
Crispin Glover is weird in that.
Yeah, he's really weird in that.
Well, he's weird in everything.
Body by the river.
Well, it's the River's Edge. Let's see here. Well done on that. Let's get to where we are now. Oh, I know. The soundtrack grade. I give it a US for utter shite. I think it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's really bad, but it's a thing of its time.
Come on, it features some glissando right there at the beginning. The that audio clip you played of him driving through the streets.
That's true. And if you hear this just right, let's see. Oh, I'll meet you on the Lido deck.
It's a dream sequence of the Love Boat is what it is. Starts with a dream sequence, ends with Love Boat.
All right, nicely done. Let's move on now to the social media post. This is where you guys sum up your thoughts in 280 characters or less, and I think this week we'll start with Randy.
Daughters of Satan. Blessed is the bride that the sun shines on. Blessed is the corpse that the rain rains on. Blessed are those with or without tit who quickly watch through this old pile of shit.
Nice. Nice. That's another word. When I was really young, if I heard the word tit, I would run for cover because I felt like I was going to get killed. It just had that meaning to it, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's fun to say now. Where are we now? Oh, Brian Dunaway, your turn.
Daughters of Satan promises it is not going to rape you and then goes right ahead and rapes you. Hashtag Satan stuff.
Definitely Satan stuff. Definitely. And finally, Brian Ibbett.
Daughters of Satan. Randy, why would you bring this movie home and show it to me? Because like what? The dog? Hashtag mindful of meringue.
Nice.
I'm so glad that it's over, that we've finally done number 666.
Yeah,
because it's been brought up for months, and I was just really tired of the subject of watching a specific movie. Like when it's in the abstract, you're like, oh, 666, that's fun.
Yeah.
But when you start actually saying we can only do one,
yeah, we're done. We're done with it. We don't have to think about it anymore. We're like,
Nope.
it's out.
Pressure's off. And I can't think of any other, numbers coming up anytime soon that we're like, oh, well, we have to find a specific kind of movie for this. Like 420 did it already. We should have watched Dazed and Confused. I don't know what we watched for 420. 69 already did it. We don't have any good numbers coming up.
That's
number
true.
100. We sacked Last Action Hero, and that was so perfect for like a big round number.
My my daughter saw Last Action Hero on a fluke some nights ago. I don't know why they even did it. They were just like randomly watching a thing, and they both came back to me and said, "Dad, you ever seen Last Action Hero? It's pretty good. It's pretty good." And I'm like, "Really? You guys watch that? What the hell's going on? Who am I?"
Yeah.
420 was Into the Blue, by the way.
Yeah, that's
Perfect.
not terribly
Nailed it.
We need to be more drug related.
Could have done better. In retrospect, I didn't know.
Yeah,
should have been a Snoop Dogg movie or something.
Yeah, or something with drugs. Like we could have done RoboCop 2 with Nuke, or I don't know, something like that.
Right.
Well, anyway, you do what you can when you can, and sometimes you can't. So now we move on from this to the the alternate titles. It's a very 420 thing for me to say. Alternate titles are almost called Magnum PU, or the pipes, the pointy pipes are calling. All right, moving on. We got a phone call this week, a voicemail, if you will, at 801-471-0462 from a listener who, I just always play him. Doesn't matter what he has to say because of his voice. And today's another example of that. It's a little longer even, and I'm letting this one in. So here you go.
Hey, guys. Hey, since you guys are having this little conundrum with Super Cop or Cops and Friends or whatever the Chan police movie series you're not having any success finding a dub on, dude, this might be the perfect time. Because you just did Bayformers, so I've been trying to get you guys to do animated Transformers movie forever. I know Scott digs the idea. I mean, you guys have already done, 2 animated movies up to this point? I mean, we're talking about something that was made just to sell more toys. But it wound up having this badass script delivered some of the coldest lines in cinema history. One, the coldest exchange I've ever seen. Something to do with the Decepticon, whose name rhymes with Barcree. So I don't want to be spoilers. So, why don't you guys just do that? It's on YouTube, so it's free. But if you guys want to see it on a streaming service, or if you have to, I'll send you $25. So, nice. There you go, man.
You have to.
Let's do Transformers, 1986. Keep it cool.
Once there was this boy who...
I want so much more of this. It feels like this very strange genre of podcast just invaded our podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, this could be a show, bro.
Yeah.
You need to know this.
It could be a show. I just love his voice. I think it's, I don't know, there's ASMR or something going on. That didn't feel like a minute and a half. It went quick. Anyway, before I get too gushy about it, I didn't know it was streaming on. I knew the series was because Hasbro's got a thing going on YouTube, but I didn't know the movie was. I don't think we should put that off very long. I would love to watch it.
No, and I think I said this last time it came up. We have copies of it that somebody sent us.
Right. We've had the discs.
You guys
forever.
all got DVDs. I got a ripped copy.
Oh, that's right.
You just paid $25? Jesus, man, shut up.
Yeah, you want the money.
I mean, we don't have copies of this movie. We need somebody to pay us. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think, if it's out there, what are we doing? We should do it. I think we should get on that. So wherever we want to slot it in, I'm all in. I'm all ears. Whatever the word is we're looking for here. Excellent. Thank you for that. That is it for that. 801-471-0462. You can email us filmsack@gmail.com. Let's see. Where are we? Oh, let's talk about our patrons real quick. We got a bunch of new ones since last week. And let me tell you about these folks. Andrew Watts, Old Gay Computer, is one of these new guys. Love it.
Old gay computer.
Yeah, Old Gay Computer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I need a make and model.
Yeah.
Scott Johnson knows the make and model. What's the old gay computer?
Oh gosh. What is it? What is the gayest computer?
Probably a Mac.
Right?
Yeah, one of the iMacs.
Yeah, one of the old iMacs. Yeah, like the first pretty white one.
All right. Yeah.
Well, all our gay friends and listeners write in and tell us how wrong we are. What is the old gay computer? What should that be? Chris Short is someone else, and then also my favorite, Spicy Pepperoni, also signed up. Love that. They're probably Canadian because they all love their pepperoni, spicy pepperoni up there. Anyway, they're all benefactors, beneficiaries of the following: no commercials ever, some art sent out in the mail every month, film related, fun stuff like that. Host specials. Got a brand new one from Brian Ibbett coming up in like 2 days. So watch for that.
Yeah.
Going to be great. And of course, no commercials. I mentioned that. Other cool benefits for signing up. You'll get pre-show content too. We did that today. So you'll never get that any other way. Sign up today at patreon.com/filmsack. Our next movie is, what are we ending the hot movie action?
We're ending hot action movie summer with Taken, Liam Neeson's 2008 masterpiece, Taken.
The first one. Wow,
Yeah.
cool.
He's got a special set of skills in that one.
That's right.
I think he had those in all of them, but whatever.
Yeah, the movie that not only launched a bunch of sequels, but also other movies that might as well be sequels.
Yeah, it launched this phase of his career.
Yes.
Which I personally love it.
I'm fine. I'm on board for all of it.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with any of this. Oh, someone did ask me yesterday why we still haven't done Darkman, and I didn't have a good answer for them. So we got to think about that.
Yeah,
one again.
we need a good answer, or just do it. Maybe if we just do it, we don't have to answer.
Yeah, Dunaway, didn't you say? Oh no, that wasn't you. Hold on, who told me?
It's streaming now. It's like it's newly available on a streaming service, and so we need to jump on it before it disappears.
All right, we'll get the Sam Raimi, Francis McDormand, Liam Neeson, Larry Drake business done. Let's get it in there.
And we will probably need a little bit of a gap between Taken and this, just because we don't want to over Neeson's ourselves. But
we recently did Emilio Estevez week after week, and it was fine.
Yeah, it was all right. These are very different Leesums.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, very different Liam Neesons.
Very different Leesums. Anyway, that'll be.
Could not think of Key and Peele.
That'll be next week. Taken. I'm excited. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, it's on Max. I haven't seen it since the one time I saw it when it was in theaters. So I don't know about you guys, but it's kind of got a history. This movie, it's like spawned a bunch of shit.
Yep. Well, yeah, like Brian was saying, it doesn't even have to be called Taken. You just bring Liam Neeson on. He's a guy who has to do revenge in real time for some reason. It's just the Taken template is strong.
You've wronged. It's the you've wronged Liam Neeson, and he's gonna get you for it. Basically.
Oh, and this guy's people we love. It's got Famke Janssen, Maggie Grace, who looks just like what's her name. Let's see, Leland Orser. We've talked about him 100 times, but he's the guy in Alien 4 Resurrection that panics real bad.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
He kind of always does that, so can't wait to see him in this. Anyway, that's Taken. We'll be taking it next week here in FilmSack.
Next week we're gonna get our daughters kidnapped or something.
Can't wait. Filmsack.com is our website. Patreon.com/filmsack, of course. And if you want to email us, filmsack@gmail.com. Keep those voicemails and texts coming as well at 801-471-0462, and leave us reviews wherever you get your podcasts. That will do it for us. For me, no. For me, for you, no. For me, for Brian, and for Randy.
I'm a cat man myself.
We'll see you next time.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.